A woman was almost trapped in a snowstorm on a mountain. She tried to get down before it got worse, but she found a man trapped and stranded alone. This woman's name is Pam, a woman who lives alone near the mountains. Pam really likes climbing. She even doesn't hesitate to climb alone without friends. Besides that, there is also a man named Dave. An old man who runs a restaurant business, maybe the only one in the area. Dave is used to Pam's presence, and he knows that Pam will definitely climb. He has warned that today's weather might be less friendly, especially since the weather news has informed him. But still, Pam continues her journey to climb. When she reaches the foot of the mountain, she meets two young men, Will and Finn. They had just finished climbing and were going home. Besides that, Pam saw another car, but Will and Finn didn't know who the owner was, and they also didn't find anyone else besides them while climbing. That's quite strange because there couldn't be anyone else here if they weren't climbing. Pam continues her journey to climb. Pam looks like she's really enjoying her climb, and it seems like she's used to it. Even though he encountered unexpected obstacles several times, but he was fine. The time was already 9:42 a.m. Pam was almost at the top. But he would not stop at the top of the mountain. He stopped for a moment to take energy, and then continued his climb. But at 10 o'clock, Pam felt that maybe it would be better for him to go down, because the weather was getting worse. Here he saw a strange shoe print, not a climber's shoe but a regular paint shoe for walking. Pam felt something was wrong. Maybe there was someone there who was trapped. But Pam found her own problem. She fell into a fairly deep hole. Her feet were injured, but she had to survive and had to get out of there immediately. Otherwise she would be buried in snow. Pam tried several times but failed, until she remembered her two children who had died. She had to be strong and tried again to get out, until finally she succeeded and continued her journey. At 1 p.m. Pam saw someone sitting down with resignation. The man's name is unknown. Maybe the man was the owner of the car in the parking lot. The man was very weak. Pam tried to warm her body with the technique she had. Because she didn't know his name, Pam finally called him John. After a while, John finally started to realize they had to leave that place. Because when night falls, the temperature will drop very quickly. At that time, John felt that he was only slowing down their movements. He tried to end his life, but he still survived. John had time to ask Pam who the woman who helped him was. "Is Pam a rescue team?" Pam said that there was no one here besides them. The rescue team would also have a hard time finding them because there was no signal here. John's suicide only added to the wounds on his body. But Pam did not give up. Until at 5:30 p.m. they managed to get out of the peak. But they had to keep walking because night was coming, especially since they did not have a tent to sleep in. Occasionally they stopped and Pam gave John snacks so that he had energy. They continued their journey until they arrived at the river location. Here John had to cross a small tree trunk bridge. But he fell, so Pam had to look for him at the end of the river. Luckily John was still alive. Then not long after they saw a car passing by and asking for help, but their voices were not heard. That was a sign that they were close to the parking lot. In the end they arrived. But John ran away from Pam using his car, even though Pam wanted to treat his wounds first. Pam then went back home. She felt very weak and for some reason she felt guilty. What happened to her? Even though John was no one to her. As if Pam felt guilty for what happened in the past. So the story is that Pam has lost her two children. Whatever happened, it is not explained, but Pam feels very guilty for not being able to save her two children. The next day Pam heard the news on the radio about John. The point is that John survived the fierce storm in the Washington mountains thanks to a woman who was none other than Pam. Even so, Pam did not want to be asked for information about this case. Weeks after the incident, Pam went back to climbing. This time there was no storm. One day there was a man named Patrick. He was a journalist, wanted to interview her about her rescue of John. But Pam didn't want to discuss this. Maybe Pam didn't want to talk to him, but maybe Pam wanted to talk about this to John himself. John was at Dave's restaurant. Here John returned the jacket that Pam gave him to protect him during the rescue. John didn't say much, he just said that he did it because he was desperate. The person he loved was gone. Pam shouldn't have helped him on the mountain, but here Pam gave him advice. What John felt, he felt it too, but life must keep moving forward. There should be no regrets. There are still many things we can do even though the people we love have left us. That was the storyline of the film Infinite Storm. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and see you later.